It's Wayne Williams. Speaking of horses, guess what? We are right here at the first annual Indiana Equine Roundup, held in Cloverdale, Indiana, C-Bar-C Arena. Great facility, and we're picking up with a new horse fair, which is the Indiana Equine Roundup, right here in Cloverdale, Indiana. This is the end of June of 2021. We're glad to have you join us. Now, we're going to do some interviews with the Indiana Trail Riders, our Midwest Equine Trail Foundation. We talked to one of the clinicians, Colton Woods, who's a nice young man doing colt starting. And we got some highlights with the Indiana Trail Riders. We've got highlights with the ranch horse rodeo that happened here. So, also with hemp for horses. You stay with us right here. We'll be ready to go momentarily at the Indiana Equine Roundup 20. Well, hey, speaking of horses, here we are at the Indiana Equine Roundup 2021, and we are in Cloverdale, Indiana. Chris Reel is my guest, and we're here to talk about the Midwest Equine Trail Foundation. Now, this is separate from, well, we know about the Indiana Trail Riders. This is a separate foundation. Chris, tell us a little about it.
All right, we were formed back in 2014 by some people that were trail riders, and what we want to do is seek public funding to maintain improved trails and campgrounds, particularly in Indiana and the surrounding states. So far, we have been very successful. We have had the ability to purchase machinery for the ITRA and the Hoosier Backcountry Horsemen. We sponsored a few grants on there. We're also sponsored a grant for putting in electric at Salamone Lost Bridge West Campground. And we're always seeking donations and things to look at. We did several trail improvements over the years. We putting in signage at Brown County State Park, fixed the A1 trail rather, in Brown County, and also fixing the F trail, that trail that goes to the store in Brown County State Park.
Well, everybody goes to Story when they ride Brown County.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, tell us a little bit about now, what standards do you follow when you, I know you've got the equipment, you got the foundation, but what trail standards do you follow when you redo these trails? Width, I know some of the standards have the regulation on brush, limbs out over the trail. So what standards are you following?
Well, we're just used any technically standard per se, but what we do is use trail designs that we have learned over the years, and we do have certified trail designers on our board, and that can help with trail design. We do incorporate several different things like rolling grade dips and trenches and turnouts and things of that nature. We do culverts in places and just fix the trail so it makes it a more pleasurable experience.
Right. Well, it's a great deal. Now, how long has the foundation been in existence?
Since 2014.
Okay. And now, when I was looking through your brochure, you also get involved over in a couple of other states. Is that right?
Yeah, we're looking to branch to other states in time, but we really want to concentrate on Indiana at first. And we're basically as a source for trail groups, be it county, state, for public lands. We don't do anything on private property. It's all strictly public lands that we're doing.
Well, now, how do they contact you, Chris, if they want some information?
They can contact me via Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and also they can contact me at my phone number, which is 812-320-7818.
All right, it's the Midwest Equine Trail Foundation, and there's nothing better than the trail riders taking care of that property for themselves. I live in Wisconsin now, although I'm originally an Indiana boy, and a lot of the trails up there are horse trails in the summer, snowmobile trails in the winter. They're multi-use. The problem with that is, if there's a lot of debris on the trail after the snowmobilers are done, the horse people get blamed for it. So it's really nice to go out and take care of your own trail so you don't lose them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more we have exposure we got, the better off we are. By the way, we are also a charitable contributor. We are a 501c3 charitable organization. So any donations you do make are tax deductible. So just according to your wishes, if you would like to help us out, it'd be muchly appreciated.
Well, check them out. Chris, thank you. It's Midwest Equine Trail Foundation. And this is Speaking of Horses. We're here at the Indiana Equine Roundup, the inaugural event in Cloverdale. Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Hey, it's Wayne Williams. Speaking of Horses, we'll be right back with a lot more from the Indiana Equine Roundup. Stay with us.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post Water.
Horses! Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Hey, Wayne Williams again. Speaking of horses, right now, let's go check out some highlights from Ranch Rodeo, part of the Indiana Equine Roundup 2021, right here. Horses at the Indiana Equine Roundup. Larry Seidel is my president. Larry is, or my guest. Larry is the president of the Indiana Trail Riders, right? So welcome, Larry, and tell us a little about the Indiana Trail Riders organization.
Okay. Indiana Trail Riders Association is a trail advocacy group that we work in all the state parks and that have horses to help keep the trails open. The DNR can't afford to do everything that they have, to maintain everything they have, so we stepped in the 80s or 70s and started working with the DNR to help keep trails open and just make sure that we didn't lose mileage.
Right, and help maintain all those trails around Indiana, because if you want to be able to use them, you're going to have to help maintain them, right? And police them, and also make sure that the people are using them properly and don't abuse it, because the minute they abuse and the state says that's going to cost too much money, you're done.
Yes,
So now, how long have you been with the Trail Riders?
Since 2003.
Okay. And you live where?
Batesville, Indiana.
Batesville?
Yep.
Oh, yes. I've been through Batesville many times.
Yeah, Crossroads.
Yeah, I at one time worked for Public Service Indiana and used to go down through there a lot, yeah. So you're down in the southeast part. You've got some beautiful area down there to ride also, right?
Versailles State Park is my backyard. Not literally, but it's close. About 25 minutes away. And I grew up going to Versailles State Park, and so it's kind of a fun place for me. And that's kind of the reason why I and another elderly gentleman from Arizona named Ron McCoy, we kind of wanted to make a trail, a park there that we could camp at there. And so we, from 2008 to 2016, worked to make a horse park at
Versailles?
Campground there at Versailles.
Yeah. Well, those are the kind of good things you do. Now, how do people contact you about the Indiana Trail Riders?
We have a website, trailriders.net, I believe it is, and then also we're on Facebook and stuff, and you can do a Google search and you'll find Indiana Trail Riders.
Indiana Trail Riders official web page or something on Facebook.
Yes.
And because I have posted some of my shows on there.
Okay.
I try to do it only when it's trail riding because it has to be approved by administration of the site.
Okay.
But the Facebook page is very well followed.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of action on Facebook.
Yeah. So, well, we wish you well, and we all have to do our part to maintain trails everywhere.
All right. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you. Right here on Speaking of Horses. Speaking of Horses are very proud to have Total Equine Feeds as a sponsor for our many programs. We are really happy to have Dr. Harry Anderson and Total Equine Feeds involved with Speaking of Horses. They manufacture all type of feeds and nutritional products for all types of animals, horses, equine, cattle, birds, all types. Total Equine Feeds is a great supporter and longtime friend of Speaking of Horses. Thank you to Total Equine Feeds. Equisentials Horse Care Products. A complete horse care package of all grooming, skin care, body care products, all from Equisentials. Developed by Dr. Tom Tweeton, these products are all tested and checked to make sure they're safe on your animals, horses, and in some cases dogs and the like. But you need to have Equisentials as a part of your tack box and routine. That's Equisentials Horse Care Products. Hey, again, it's Speaking of Horses. We're here at the Indiana Equine Roundup, the inaugural event in 2021. Colton Woods is my guest. He is a trainer who lives in Paris, Kentucky, and does a really nice job training. You've been doing some colt starting, some liberty work. So, Colton, tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
You bet. Yeah, we're really fortunate. Bryce and the team at CVRC invited us to come down. They asked us to do a colt starting demonstration as well as our liberty demonstration that we had last night. So the last couple of days, I brought a wild Mustang that I've only had for 2 weeks. And so when I got her and they called me to do this event, I was like, all right, I got 2 weeks to get this mare prepared and get her safe enough where I can get her through the barns and everything like that. And so before we got her to the event, we could lead her a little bit, but she's been pretty dodgy. I've been having to tell people like, hey, give us some space so I can get her around the grounds. And so they wanted a colt starting demonstration, and that's what we're giving them is a colt starting demonstration. And so it got a little interesting this morning. Went to tighten that cinch a little bit, and she kind of came in too. But that's what we're here to show people is the practical, real horse training, the things that they see that their horses do at home, and then work with them and show them how we can break that process down, how to help those horses keep developing.
Well, yeah, because they're going to have that at home.
Yeah.
And, if you set up a scenario in the arena that's not what the average horse person is going to run into, they still haven't learned how to handle it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So that's a really good philosophy on that. And I know you'd hate to go out there and say, well, he's not quite under control yet, because a lot of people would think, well, that shows that I don't know what I'm doing. But actually, you've got to show how to work through a problem.
Yes, sir.
All right, and if you can show them how to get through a problem, then you've shown them something.
Exactly.
What got you into doing this?
You bet. So everybody thinks I grew up on a ranch out in Montana or out in Colorado somewhere, but I didn't. I grew up in a family that was international business and I didn't get around horses until I was 16. And so I've been telling everybody this weekend that it's about the 11th summer that I've been around horses, like the 11th year that I've kind of been in this. And so it's been like drinking from a fire hose, but I found my purpose working with rescue horses. I was volunteering in high school helping these rescue horses. They ended up there because they didn't have an education. They didn't have skills to keep them out of a bad situation. So, and they were 2 to 6 years old, and no one wants a 2 to 6 year old pasture pet. It's hard to be able to tell somebody that they're going to keep a horse for 20 or 25 years and not be able to do anything other than look at it and feed it. And so I really found a purpose to say, hey, we can give these horses a solid foundation, a solid education, and then people adopt them. And so that's where I found my purpose, and I've been chasing that, continually working from some of the best in the industry, starting our own business, going out, and now really trying to help people train their own horses, because it's great if I can do it. It's great if people can watch me in the arena. They're like, okay, well, that's great that guy in the cowboy hat can get in there and work that colt. But how can I do that at home? And so that's where I've broken it down. I'm telling people, listen, this is my 11th year, and I don't say that to some of the guys, other clinicians, like, listen, you don't need to be telling them that because it takes the credit away from you. I'm like, no. It should inspire them to know that they can do it too, because what I'm working with is how a horse thinks, how a horse moves, and I've just indulged myself in that information. Now I'm trying to share that with them so they can be just as effective.
Absolutely. I got to share this story because we call it the old line foreman, like from electric utilities,
You bet.
philosophy. And the old philosophy was, my job security is I know it and you don't, and I'm not telling you. All right? And that's absolutely backwards, but that's the way it was done. The more knowledge that you have and the more knowledge then that you impart, the more you gain in stature because you're not afraid to help people. There's a whole different philosophy. Hey, Colton, how do people get a hold of you?
You bet. You can find us. It's pretty simple. It's coltonwoodshorsemanship.com on our website. You're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even on TikTok. Not quite as much there, but it's all Colton Woods Horsemanship. So you can find us on any of the platforms there. And we have a podcast called The Heart of Horsemanship, where you guys, if you guys like to listen to things while you're going down the road or while you're riding your horse, you can catch us there as well.
Well, that's great. Colton, thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're here at the Indiana Equine Roundup. Speaking of horses, thanks to Colton.
Thank you.
So that horse has two types of leg cues to stop with your legs. He has your voice, which says whoa. Yeah. Don't go fast. There's nothing fast about it. Okay. It's so simple. All right. We do it every day, every single day. So then when we get that walk, we get that.
Hey, it's Wayne Williams. Speaking of horses, we'll be right back with a lot more from the Indiana Equine Roundup. Stay
Fence
with us.
systems, they're non-conductive, they're self-insulating, they're maintenance-free. Beyond that, they're very easy to install. They'll last for years and years. Timeless fence system.
And we want to give a great big thank you to Adeptus Animal Nutrition based on science, designed to help your horses and other pets and animals. Adeptus, now a part of the Piranha family. Hey, welcome to Speaking of Horses. We are here in Indiana, Cloverdale, the inaugural Indiana Equine Roundup. Sean and Kathy are my guests, and they're here promoting their Mustang Challenge. So tell us a little bit about the Mustang Sanctuary, the challenge, and how this all works.
Mustang Sanctuary has been around for 20 years. We bring in the wild Mustangs and burros from the government holding facilities and from individuals, and we gentle them down and we find them their adoptable homes. We have a challenge going on. It is a tip challenge. This year it was kind of canceled for 2021 due to the COVID restrictions and everything, but we plan on moving forward with it for the year 2022. It is where a person can adopt the wild horse or burro. They've got basically about 90 to 100 days to work with the horse, get it gentled down, and bring it in for the competition. We will also be having a Mustang Open show along with that, to where if people previously adopted a Mustang, they can come out and compete in a separate class.
So you're located in southern Illinois, right, near St. Louis?
Yes, we are right outside of downtown St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, but you're on the Illinois side.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yes.
We're
So-
30 minutes out of. To jump the creek, we're 30
Jump the creek and you're there, right?
Yeah.
So people want to contact you about this. What's your website or Facebook or whatever?
You can find us on Facebook at Legendary Mustang Sanctuary or at our website at legendarymustingsanctuary.org.
Briefly, how did you guys get involved with Mustangs?
That's a long story.
I love how you keep pointing to her. You answer, you answer.
He agreed. Life happened. We had horses when we were younger. Life happened, and we were ready to start getting into horses again, and he agreed to let me start looking at horses. I kept going back to the Mustangs, and he kept telling me, no, you're crazy. These horses aren't going to hurt you. They're going to kill you. Well, I won that battle. We got our first two Mustangs. We were trail riding them within 30 days. People started given us their wild and crazy horses, and we joined some organizations to protect the Mustangs and found out you're fighting big businesses and government. So that's when we started bringing them in out of the holding facilities and finding them their homes.
Well, it's quite a project, and taking care of finding homes for the Mustangs is a well-needed, scenario, well-needed thing.
She forgot to say though, we were riding our Mustangs over 20 years ago. And when we go on trail rides, people will say, "Oh, that's one of them Mustangs. My friend's got one. Can you help them?" And we'll say, "Well, we'll try." Well, here's our phone number. Have them call us. Well, they would call and say, "Come get this animal. It's destroying everything." So we'd go get them. We'd bring them in and we'd vet them. And we weren't in it for profit. We just would get it taken care of, and we literally gave them to people as long as we knew they were going to a good home. And then it just evolved. It was never, "Oh, we're going to open a sanctuary." It just happened.
Well, yeah, and it happened out of necessity, and you guys were good enough to get it going, and you respected the horses enough to help them. All right, again, your website?
LegendaryMustangSanctuary.org.
All right, so contact them, because
Yes.
the big challenge will be now in 2022, and more data will be coming.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And you stay with us. At Speaking of Horses, we're here at the Indiana Equine Roundup.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming to learn some more about CBD for your horse. My name is Renee Vandenberg. We own a certified organic farm. We've been growing hemp now for 3 years and have found it a really, really interesting and useful plant. We started with people working with veterans, and the company that we worked for did oils for people. I used it for myself and found it helped me so much. I just couldn't wait to see what it could do for horses. So we started making powders and pellets and different types of way to get CBD into your horse. We have a riding stable with about 17 horses that we use in the lesson string. And with that, we have a lot of older ones that have some arthritis issues. We had one that had the heaves, and we have some that actually have some emotional issues too. So we started using CBD on our horses about 3 years ago. We've actually taken in rescues just to kind of find out what it could do for different horses. And we found it to be very helpful with inflammation and pain management and also anxiety. Those are the three main things that we found CBD is good for. Let me tell you a little bit about how I started using CBD myself. I was in a car accident. I got hit by a drunk driver. He was going 60 and I was stopped at a stop sign, and I didn't let go of the steering wheel. You know, big farm grill. I hung onto the steering wheel and my seat flattened back and it dislocated my clavicle. For about 2 years I had pain, and it kept getting worse and worse, and it was nerve pain that went down my arm. When the veterans group that we were working with asked if we could grow hemp for them, of course, first of all, I said, no, I don't want to do that because it had such a stigma. But the more I learned about it, the more I realized that hemp is different than marijuana. It's not the same thing. And it works medicinally in our body. We actually tried it. We went to a seminar and they gave away free samples, and I tried it on myself, and the pain between taking it at night and the next morning, the pain that was down my arm was pretty much gone. And that's something that I've been living with for 2 years. Because of this, all I could think about is what could it do for the horses, right? Because that's where every good horse person's brain goes, is to what can it do for the horses. So we started on this long journey of figuring out what the horses need. At first, everybody that was giving CBD to their horse, they thought they were going to need to get 700 and 800 milligrams a day, and it was going to cost $600 a month to feed them. If you were doing it by weight, that's normally how you would do it. Like if you're feeding SMZs or regular horse people medicine, to give it to the horse, you can pretty much times it by 10. But that's just not true with CBD. A lot of horses will respond to as little as 50 milligrams, which is just a little bit more than I take in a day, and it works really well for them. Arthritis is the main thing that we've found it help with. The majority of horses we give it to, it does help. If it's bone on bone, then it's a little bit iffy, but when you actually go into the joint, the issues of the movement, it helps with the fluid, and the more that the horses move, the better they're going to get. And if you can get something into them that helps them move, that's what's really going to help them heal. Okay, like anytime you have arthritis, the more you move, the better you are. The more you sit, the worse it's going to get. So you want to make sure that you keep those horses moving and get them comfortable. CBD helps with the pain management as well. So if you have a horse that has some really some painful event or even stressful event, or stress too, you can give it to them during that time. And I'm feeling tongue-tied and stupid again. I wish there was people here. Okay, questions?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead. Do you have any questions?
If I want to learn...
One second. Okay, do we have any questions?
If I want to learn more about this, how do I contact you?
Contact me? You can contact me through the website. It's on all our packaging. We have cards. Our name is Hemp for Horses. We are on the internet, and you can just type in www.hempforhorses.com, and it will come up to our website.
That's what I wanted to know. And you're located where?
We're in Decatur, Wisconsin.
Which is near Green Bay, right?
It's near Green Bay. Go Packers, right?
But yes, that's the main thing is
you have
contact.
green and gold on. All right.
The main thing is to contact you with questions about will this help with this or this.
Will this help with this or this? I'm not a veterinarian. Okay, I don't. But I have gone to the BMX and the BXC, the different clinics that the veterinarians go to get their continuing education credits. And the reason I went to them is to learn everything that the veterinarians knew about hemp, about CBD, which it really isn't a whole lot. They haven't had a lot of university studies. Unfortunately, big pharmaceuticals kind of likes to squash the, the whole natural remedies. But the more we use it and the more people use it, the more they find it works.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Wayne Williams, speaking of horses. That was a look around some of the events and things happening at the Indiana Equine Roundup. And we were talking end of June 2021. We're glad to have you join us here on Speaking of Horses. And glad to bring you highlights of different events such as this inaugural, first ever Indiana Equine Roundup. Thanks for being here on Speaking of Horses. We'll see you down the trail.